Do you remember the good old days before the ghost town?
She's like butter.
Hey.
Greetings, people of YouTube. Welcome back to Pick the Bass. I promised myself I wouldn't start with a pun, and yet here we are. There are some bands that are just special, and the specials are about as special as they come. They blended together reggae, ska, punk, and new wave in a way that had never been done before. They brought together people of different colors and different cultures and got them all to dance to the same beat. You can't dance without great bass, and the Specials had one of the greatest bass players ever, Horace Panter, better known to most as Sir Horace Gentleman. Come along with me as I explore what makes Horace a bass-playing badass. Let's do this! Stephen Graham Horace Panter was born in Croydon on August 30th in 1953. He attended Coventry University where he met Jerry Dammers. The two hit it off and decided to start a band. They brought in singer Tim Strickland, guitarist Lineville Golding, and drummer Silverton Hutchinson. Try saying that 3 times fast. Boom! They almost immediately replaced Tim with Terry Hall and added second guitarist Roddy Radiation. They initially called themselves the Automatics. Then they changed the name to the Specials, aka the Automatics. They then shortened that to the Specials, aka, before finally settling on the Specials. Band names are so weird. It feels like it takes bands forever to land on the right name if they ever get there at all. Try fitting the Specials, aka the Automatics, on a flyer. Not gonna happen, bro. Joe Strummer of The Clash caught one of their shows and invited them to open for The Clash in the UK on their On Parole tour. Neville Staple, who was their roadie at the time, was invited to be the band's second singer. Turns out they really liked his take on Monkey Man. In 1979, Hutchinson left the band and was replaced by John Bradbury. We now have the classic lineup in place, and it's time to hit the studio. Jerry formed his two-tone record label and put out the band's first single, Gangsters. It did well enough to get the attention of Rough Trade, who repressed and distributed the single. This then got the attention of Chrysalis Records, who took on Two-Tone as an imprint. Now the Specials had the backing of a major, Good Times Noodle Salad.
Good times, noodle salad.
They hooked up with Elvis Costello in the summer of '79 to produce their self-titled debut album. This is where horn players Dick Cuthell and Rico Rodriguez enter the chat. In September of 1980, they released their second album, More Specials. This album was not as commercially successful, but I think it's a masterpiece. Jerry wanted to push their sound further. He had been inspired by all the Muzak that they had heard on tour. On a plane, in a hotel, in a restaurant, in an elevator, he wanted to get experimental, and this was his muse. He added lounge and exotica to the Special sound, while the other members brought in genres like Northern Soul and Rockabilly. I'm a huge exotica fan. I love the classics. Les Baxter, Martin Denny, Arthur Lyman. I especially enjoy the Tiki-Aki Orchestra. There is little in life that vibes as hard as their Aloha Baby album. Those dudes sure can swing.
We are both swingers, you see?
Anyways, back to the Specials. The recording and release of More Specials created a lot of conflict within the band. They weren't getting along, and touring was making it worse. They took a break from the road in early 1981 to record a few new songs. This led to the release of Ghost Town, a #1 single and their final with all of the original members. While performing Ghost Town on Top of the Pops, Staple, Hall, and Golding announced they were leaving the group. They went on to form Fun Boy 3, and the original run of the Specials had come to an end. When Jerry formed the Specials, he had no idea he would create a new kind of music, become a leader in the fight against racism, and change the world. They had a wild ride. The Specials went from working-class local boys in Coventry to world-famous music pioneers. Right at the height of their fame, they burned it all down and walked away. Respect.
He wipes his ass with his record contract. I love this guy.
That's a good one. The first ska band I can remember hearing was Operation Ivy. I love Operation Ivy, but they're definitely more punk than ska, and that sort of thing is totally my bag, baby.
You all right, baby?
The next ska band I heard was The Specials. The Specials are the greatest ska band of all time. While I completely believe that, I also hate saying it. I'm honestly not a huge fan of ska, and calling The Specials a ska band makes them feel small. Throughout my life, I've had a lot of phases. Somehow I've managed to convince myself that the Specials have fit with everyone. The Specials are like the French fries of music. They go with everything. I think it was my friend Storm who initially introduced me to the music of the Specials. It would have been the fall of '95. This was still early days on my journey into the abyss of punk rock. My favorite bands at the time would have been Sublime, Operation Ivy, Green Day, and Rancid. Sublime introduced me to reggae, Operation Ivy gave me ska, and Green Day brought me to punk. Rancid had just put out And Out Come the Wolves, which really piqued my interest in ska. That album was a masterpiece and totally blew my mind. Matt Freeman's bass playing was game-changing, and you can hear all about it in my Matt Freeman video, which you can find here. So Storm gives me a copy of the first Specials album, and it was like an awakening. This was the music I was looking for.
You know that new sound you looking for? Well, listen to this!
It was so vintage and warm, it almost felt like the Beatles' White Album. It was most definitely ska, but it felt so punk. The lyrics were incredible, but what really did it for me was the bass.
Hello.
Horace was clearly a huge influence on Eric Wilson and Matt Freeman, and they were my two biggest influences at the time. I was barely a year into playing the bass, and Horace really helped me understand the importance of movement and melody in a punk rock bass line. Lots of people are good with riding the root notes, but not me. I wanted to make the bass sing, and I took a lot of that from Horace's work on that first album. I don't think I heard more Specials for years, probably not until the internet came around. I thought their second album was the Singles Collection, which is a compilation. I was a stupid kid, what the hell did I know? I'm pretty sure that I found this one at a shop on Bleecker Street. Back then you had to really work to find music, and it made you appreciate it so much more.
So much more!
I think I love this album even more than the first one. Ghost Town, Why, and Friday Night, Saturday Morning have to be three of the best songs to ever be put in a row on an album ever. Rat Race and Do Nothing are also bangers. Their cover of Maggie's Farm shits all over Bob Dylan's original.
Come at me, bro.
The Specials became one of my favorite bands. I had Special shirts. I had Special stickers. I had the Specials guy on my skateboard. I had Specials the flamethrower.
Baseball's the flamethrower! Bet kids love this one.
I was lucky enough to see them a few times with all the OG members besides Jerry. They were fantastic every time. I didn't really know where to fit this in, but if you haven't listened to Amy Winehouse's Specials covers, you're missing out. She did Monkey Man, Hey Little Rich Girl, and You're Wondering Now, and they're all incredible. Horace started out as a very groovy player. His bass lines were super melodic. They could definitely serve as the hook and would get stuck in your head. A lot of his playing on the self-titled reminds me of James Jamerson and Paul McCartney. His use of octave runs really pumps up the vibes and demands that we dance.
Hit,
Horace's playing on more Specials is very different. It's very rhythmic and repetitive. Lots of low-note jams that are clearly influenced by his love of reggae. I see the first album as the Matt Freeman era and the second as Eric Wilson. I dig them both. Horace is God.
God, he knows what to
times you're on.
Have fun.
Horace's tone is great. It might not be as unique as someone like Fat Mike or Mark Hoppus, but it definitely fills the mix and pokes out just as much as it needs to. He's not really into tons of high-end and growl, he's more into thud. The tone on the self-titled is pretty standard, but the tone on more specials is really dialed in. It's so low and thuddy, it's exactly what you want from that style of reggae bass. If you've been watching my videos, you know I'm all about that twang twang. I like everything open and played with a pick. Other than maybe Eric Wilson, I think that Horace has the greatest fingerstyle low-end tone that I've ever heard. It may not be my go-to, but I dig it, and he does it better than most. I watched a video where Horace talks about two of his basses. He went over his 1972 Sunburst Fender P bass that he bought in 1975 for 165 pounds. It's the bass that he used on Gangsters and the Self-Titled and toured with through 1979. He also showed off his 1971 P bass that he bought in 1981. This was the bass that he used on Ghost Town. It had upgraded DiMarzio pickups and a shaved neck. I know most people love a fat neck with a huge radius, but for me, it's all about a 7 1/4 inch radius neck. That's how the vintage Fenders came, and that's how my Marcus Miller is. It's so comfortable and fast. I get why Horace would enjoy a shaved down P-bass neck. Over the years, Horace has played telly basses, jazz basses, Thunderbirds. He's played them all, but he mostly sticks to P basses, just like everyone else. Also like everyone else, he mostly sticks with Ampeg, SVT heads, and 810 cabs. Snoochie booches. It's time to go over a few of my favorite Horace tracks. My favorites and your favorites probably won't line up, and that's okay. There's so many great songs, but this is my list. Instead of freaking out, let me know what you would have picked down in the comments.
Prepare to meet your doom.
The first track I want to talk about is Nightclub, from their 1979 self-titled album. This is the first special song that I really got into. I was eating SpaghettiOs the first time that I heard it, and now it always makes me want some Chef Boyardee. SpaghettiOs rule. This whole song is a jam, and the bridge is basically a bass solo. Check out a bit of the bridge. The next track I want to discuss is Concrete Jungle, also from the self-titled. This song is all about bass chords and octave runs. It always makes me think of the underground theme from Super Mario. The quarter notes in the choruses make it impossible to not bop along. Check out a bit of the bridge.
I'm going out tonight.
I normally keep this at 3 songs, but that was tough with the specials, and I had to include a bonus track. Friday Night, Saturday Morning is probably my favorite special song. It originally came out in 1981 as a B-side to their non-album single, Ghost Town. This might not be Horace's flashiest bass line, but it shows his command of groove and melody as good as anything can. Jerry lays down an absolutely incredible organ solo. The lyrics are great, the vibes are great. If I had a desert album compilation, this would be one of the 12 tracks. Check it out. The last song I want to talk about is Ghost Town. This was their final single with all of the original members before everything went tits up. You either know it from When You Were Young or from Shaun of the Dead. If you already love the tune, there's really not much that I can say. It's the best. I've never been more pumped about something making me feel so unsafe and anxious. If you don't know this song, where have you been hiding? And holy shit, you're in for a treat.
Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
Check out a bit of the special's magnum opus, Booyah! Well, that's Horace. He rules. How do you feel about Horace? How do you feel about the Specials? What's your favorite Specials song? Is ska bussin' or dog water? Let me know down in the comments. Finally, please make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell, all the YouTube stuff. I know it's annoying to hear that all the time, but it really helps. I'm having a great time making these videos, and the more that I know that you're enjoying them, the more that it motivates me to continue. Oh God, my hand is a claw. The claw! I'll catch you next time, but until then, be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes! See ya.
Thank you.